thing. So it truly is, I think, like when you talk about like a certain type of person, I think it's Housewives. It's Housewives that
but
are
it's
mad.
also like, okay, when you have on real celebrities, they're famous for some sort of skill.
Right.
We are not. We're famous for being who we are. And a lot of times, most of the time, that involves eccentric behavior. And so
Totally.
eccentric behavior, unless you're willing to own that as an individual, it's not something you really want to publicize. It's embarrassing. And unless an individual who is on a reality television show is so like self-actualized that they can see themselves for who they are, you are going to get drama here, drama there, more drama, which is exactly why these shows exist, David.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that most are not self-actualized and they're just right. Like I think I'm very self-actualized. Like when I'm being difficult, I get it. When I'm being a bit like whatever it is, like I get it. Like I check myself.
Yeah.
I think most housewives are not.
Being self-actualized in that way, that's a hard thing to be.
Yeah.
Because putting up a mirror to oneself is not always pretty. It's usually not at all. I don't even like looking at my face in the morning. Like looking deeper than that, it's tough. I've had to do it because that's the only way I could recover from the trauma that I experienced with my very public and nasty divorce that haunts me, every day of my life continually. And I wish that I hadn't gone through it. I wish that I was, a little smaller version of myself, because the bigger version of myself that you are meeting with today is only due to the trauma that I've experienced and the healing that I've processed. I wish I didn't have to do that, but it has gotten me to this place where I really think I do see myself for who I am, at least better than I used to.
So that's positive.
It is.
Do you ever think of reaching out to Teresa?
Her podcast co-host invited me on the podcast. And I was like, are you sure you want me on there? And she's like, do you have beef with Teresa? I'm like, no, not at all. But, I've been vocal about Louis. And she's like, okay, well, let's get it scheduled then.
Was this after just calling him a slime ball?
Literally yesterday. So, yes.
Wow.
I know. We'll see what happens. Why would she want me on her podcast?
I don't know, because you're not going to sit there if Louis comes up and say he's a great guy to Teresa's face.
No, but I'm also not trying to bring her down. Like, I'm not trying to start a fight here or anything. And I would love to be talked out of it. I want to be proven wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Like, Teresa seems like an incredible woman. Look, she's probably arguably the most famous housewife of all. And that takes like a lot of marketing and talent to market your personal brand in a way. Like, she might not even know she's doing it, but she's done it well.
Yeah. Wow. So, right. So you've never reached out to her or thought of it, but I mean, I imagine
there's no
reason to. If it comes up, you're going to be honest with her to her face or over Zoom.
Yeah, I will.
I don't know how that's going to go.
But yeah, I know. Because I wouldn't do that with a normal person. I wouldn't say, you're married to a narcissist, But I also don't see normal people in that same, like, on television. So.
She's not going to agree with that statement now. She's in love.
No.
She's in love.
Why would she agree? That would be a terrible thing to agree to. That you're married to a narcissist knowingly? Ugh.
Yeah.
Of course she's not going to agree.
It's just like, it's like when you say like, it's obvious, like, cause I mean, like, she's had these problems like with Joe and Melissa all these years, but now they really do seem to be isolated. Now we can argue how we got there, but the one thing that is different is that Louis in the picture.
I know. Isn't it sad? It's sad.
It's like,
I don't like family rifts. It's not good. Ever.
Did you ever think of reaching out to like Lala Kent throughout all of her stuff with Randall?
Lala and I have talked. We talk.
You have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talk. Yeah, with that stuff, we have like a really strong bond because of our shared experience with a narcissist. Mm-hmm.
Right, and you've both come out the other side, if there is such a thing.
I mean, yeah, like we're both going through, I think, like our own, recovery. Yeah, she's in it more than I am. The state of California is worse with like custodial laws and things
Right.
than Missouri, but she has shared legal and physical custody, and I have full legal, which is thank God.
Thank God, right?
Yeah, I just got passports for my kid the other day. All of my kids, like my ex-husband, he's never taken my kids on a vacation, not even domestically. And well, they can't go internationally; they don't have passports. But like, not even he's never taken them on an airplane since we got divorced, and which is 4 years ago. And my kids are only 5 and 6. Okay, so like he does not travel with these kids. He's rich. Have I mentioned that? Like he doesn't. It just doesn't serve him. There's no to travel with these little ankle biters, right? So he's not trying to like enrich our children through travel or experiences. So I got that responsibility.
You're going to
which
take them
I
away.
gladly will take on. I love traveling with my kids. I do it all the time. And so I said, Jim, can you meet me? I said this in person. Can you meet me to get a passport for the kids? Sure. So I email him. This is the time. Will you be there? No, you didn't show up. He didn't respond to the email. I get gray rocked a lot. He often ignores me. And the good thing about this, because getting a passport would never serve him, getting a passport for the children, he's never going to use it, right? So why would he show up? It's not going to help him in any way, shape, or form. So I had to submit with the passports my entire official copy of the divorce that says I have full legal custody in order to – because like with passports for kids, you have to have both parents sign off. Right. He's not going to sign off. So I had to prove that I have like the last word in the decision making. And passports are off. They're in the waiting queue.
Do you think, and then that's where the gaslighting comes in? Because like if when he's in the media, he's always like, you're obsessed, you talk about him all the time. Like that's the gaslighting part of it, right? Of like.
Probably, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where they're trying to make you. That's similar to Louis also. Like, his ex, Vanessa. I don't know if you know this. Like,
I know Vanessa.
You know her.
Mm-hmm.
I know her too. So like now she has this restraining order. She claims that like Louis sent these people into her business to use her as a counselor for like narcissistic abuse. And, his response is she's obsessed with him. Sounds similar, right?
I mean, when anyone goes through an abusive relationship with a narcissist, that like it's very consuming. And it like Louis seems like a real bad one. He seems worse than Jim, honestly, and that's saying a lot. And I deal with Jim and his antics all the time. I'm hopeful things could get better, but like I said, if history repeats itself, then like I know what I'm dealing with.
And you think Louis is worse than Jim?
I do.
Wow.
I think Louis is worse than Jim. And I don't think Teresa is as strong as she needs to be to like push back with him, because she's more of like a traditional in like more of a traditional relationship,
Yeah.
where the woman takes the back seat kind of thing, which is fine. But like it's not fine with a narcissist. Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, but for you to say Louis is worse says a lot, because you have lived it with Jim.